Okay, so it is week 6, which means we only have 3 more weeks of class. It's gone by very fast. We're going to start talking about goal setting this week. You're also going to be doing some career and major exploration this week as well for your discussion. And this is all going to be in preparation for your final project, which is a student educational plan, where you'll actually be creating a plan based on an educational goal that you have and a major that you're interested in. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we're going to do our afternoon reflection, and then we're going to go over the goals lecture and goal setting, and then we will be going over what's in your module, and I'm going to be explaining what your assignment is. It's a little bit in depth, so I want to make sure that we have time for that. So to get you guys starting to think about your goals, I want you to reflect on the following questions. So what are your top priority goals right now? What are your top priority goals for you in your life right now? Which of your skills and interests make your goals realistic for you? This question you're going to see also relates to the career exploration part of your discussion, because that career exploration assessment is going to be looking at what you're interested in and can your interests connect to a career, and how can your interests connect to a career so that's something that you actually are putting your own skills and interests to be able to work towards something. What makes your goals believable and possible? Are your goals measurable? How long will it take to reach them? How will you know if you've achieved them? So, a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is how to create SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym that you've been reading about for this week and we'll be talking about today. And part of that is thinking how long, figuring out what your goal is, and then how long is it going to take to reach that goal? For example, if you want to be a doctor, you're not only going to need a bachelor's degree, you're going to need to be able to go on to med school. So you're going to have to think about that timeline. The more that you can make these, excuse me, 1 second. My throat was dry. The more that you can make these SMART goals and plan out, the easier it's going to be down the road. And of course, your goals are going to change all throughout your life. But for now, you want to think about what are the top priority goals for you. Are your goals flexible? What will you do if you experience a setback? We're going to be talking about problem solving and how to cope with if things are not turning out the way that you want, but you still have a long-term goal in mind. I'm so sorry, excuse me. I have a dry throat. Sorry, I don't want you to see me coughing on camera. Okay. Are your goals controllable? Can you achieve them on your own, or are you going to need a support system, right? And are your goals in sync with your values? So go ahead and take a few minutes to reflect on these questions. It's okay if you don't know all the answers yet. The point of the afternoon reflection is to get your mind thinking about what the reading is based on this week, what we're going to be thinking about, and helping you get ready for the assignments for the week. So take a few minutes, a couple minutes, and then we will talk about it. So right now, if your camera's not on, that's okay. But when we go into the group discussions, into the breakout rooms, I will need you to turn your cameras on. going to give you guys a couple more minutes, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms to discuss and then come back together. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. Okay, it's okay if you're not done yet. This is going to be an ongoing theme for the next couple of weeks that you're going to be reflecting on and utilizing this information for your quizzes and discussions and ultimately your student educational plan. So we're going to share a little bit with one another in smaller groups. So if you could please have your cameras on so that your classmates can see your gorgeous faces. And I'm going to put you in, let's see. And then we'll come together as a big group. All right, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'll call you back. Go ahead and join your room. Okay, does anyone want to share anything that you discussed in terms of your top priority goals right now? Anything that you're thinking about in terms of planning out those goals? Anyone feel like sharing?
For my goals, I picked two, and I had one that was long term, like I want to graduate from college, and then one that's very short term, which is I want to get a good grade on my AP test. So
Good, very good. So that's good. You have already a long-term goal in mind and a short-term. And so then you can plan out using that SMART acronym that we're going to be talking about, how you can make both of those happen. Thank you, Kaylin, for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
I'd have to say a goal of mine is to take care of my physical and mental health. Since I don't want to possibly drive myself to being suicidal or anything like that, since at one point I used to be. I'm not sure if that's something anyone knew about me.
Thank you for sharing, Everett. If you need resources, when we're dealing with our mental health, all of us, we definitely want to seek out help if we can.
Yeah, and it's definitely important too, because seeking help, again, I think is just very important. So that way you can talk to someone if you feel like there's no one you can talk to.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Everett.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your honesty. And that's important for all of us, right? To have that goal to be, and it's an ongoing goal, I think, throughout your life to be able to take care of your mental health and your physical health.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how that goal is going to be measurable, because I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
Okay.
But that is something I'm going to have to start thinking about.
Yeah, and that's good that you're even thinking about it. The more that we think and visualize what we want in our life, whether short-term or long-term, the more that we're going to be able to actually plan out and achieve those steps to get there. So thank you so much, Everett, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to share? Okay, so like I said, this is going to be an ongoing discussion within the class, but also a discussion with yourself. You know, as you go through life, your goals are going to change. And so we're going to talk about tips for reaching goals and succeeding at reaching goals. So, you know, we had two students that did mention how they have perhaps short-term but long-term goals as well. So it's important that when you're trying to stay motivated, especially in college, that you're keeping your eye on that long-term goal, right? Whether that means graduating or graduating so that you can go on to get a job, or graduating so that you can go on to get your master's degree. And so that keeping your eye on that long-term goal can help you when you might approach setbacks or have, you know, small hiccups, or, you know, you have to do a class, maybe you're not happy in that class, but you have to keep your eye basically on the prize, right? You're working towards, you need that class to get to that end goal. Keeping priorities straight, meaning there's going to be certain goals that are more important than others at certain parts of your life. Working on keeping a positive attitude. Now, that can be difficult because life can bring many difficulties, whether internally from our own mental health or externally, right, from things going on in our life outside. So, one way is to try to be able to keep working towards a goal is keeping a positive attitude. And if this is difficult, this could be difficult for some of us. Some of us may linger on the negative, or maybe things have happened in life that it may feel like, oh, you know, this is going to be the same as it's been in the past. You want to then have a support system, a supportive, positive support system. So that might look like, you know, making new friends that are working towards similar goals as you, whether in clubs or organizations or in your classes, or reaching out to counselors, getting referrals out to therapists, taking part in wellness or meditation classes on campus. So there's different ways to help create that positive attitude in an ongoing way. Not letting past habits drag you down. So college is like a restart. Whoever you were in high school, you can continue to be that person, or you can completely grow and evolve and become something different. So if something wasn't working for you in high school, some habits not working, you have the ability to change. You can change that within yourself, right? This class is hopefully exposing you to some ways to change, and you're going to learn others along the way. So know that, you know, there might have been bad habits in the past or unhealthy habits in the past, but you have the ability to change. This is a way and a new start for the rest of your life. Planning ahead to avoid last minute pressure. So this whole class is really about planning, right? We talk a lot about time management, which is all about planning out your schedule. The more that you plan ahead for long and short-term goals, the less you're going to be stressed, because you're going to have an idea exactly how long it's going to take, or an idea, maybe not exactly, but an estimate, what you're going to need to get there. Focus on your successes. There might be small successes along the way, getting an A on a test, doing well in a presentation, meeting new friends. That's a success, right? Being part of something new on campus. So focus on your successes, even if there's, you know, some challenges along the way. Breaking larger projects down into smaller tasks. We talked a lot about that in time management, and I know you guys are have learned a lot about that, and you guys are good at that because I've seen how you've done in this class. And rewarding yourself, I always say that, reward yourself for completing significant tasks. And yes, so success begins with goals. If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else. So you might have an idea, even if it's not specific. You might have an idea in your mind. And the more that you have that idea of what you want your life to look like, and we're going to be, in a couple weeks, you're going to be writing a life vision discussion where you're looking at, what do I want in my personal life, in my career life, in my academic life? I knew so let's say, speak personally, once I got out of my bachelor's, when I was in college, I thought, oh, I'll just have to do a bachelor's and then I'm going to get a good paying job and I'm going to do fine. Well, out of college, you know, I ended up being a preschool and kindergarten teacher, which paid well at the time, but it wasn't enough for me to be able to live independently in Los Angeles. It wasn't enough for me to do that, to pay rent and then go travel, which is what I like to do. So I knew that my goal was, okay, I need to figure out a way for me to become financially independent. And happy still. So I needed to find something that was going to make me happy, a job, and figure out the steps to get there. Well, it turned out I wanted to be, a counselor in community college. So I had to go apply to grad school, do grad school, go through all that. But now I'm at a point in my life where I feel much more financially stable than I did, but I still have goals, right? I still have short and long-term goals. There's still a long way for me to go in my career and in my life. So even if you don't have the exact idea of what exactly you want to do, the more that you visualize it and the more that you have some kind of goal, the more successful you're going to be. So your book talks a lot about this SMART goal. And so this is an acronym to think about how to create SMART goals, which means that the goal is specific, it's measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And we're going to watch a video from your module to teach us a little bit more about that.
Would you set off on a cross-country trip without a map, a GPS, or even a clear destination in mind? If you did, you might have an interesting adventure, but there's also a good chance you'd wind up somewhere you didn't want to be. This is why it's so important to set goals. Goals act like a roadmap for your life. They help you take control and guide you along your journey so that your experiences are rich, satisfying, and enjoyable. To accomplish your goals, you need to know how to set them. And there are 5 golden rules that help you do this. One of these is to set goals that genuinely motivate you. Try to imagine working day in, day out towards a goal that doesn't excite you very much. It doesn't sound much fun, does it? If something isn't very important to you, chances are you'll give up before you achieve it. When you think about setting a goal, take time to analyze why it's so meaningful to you. If you're not truly excited about it, then it's probably not worth pursuing. The next rule is to set SMART goals. There are many variations of what SMART stands for, but in essence, goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART goals work best because you can evaluate your progress objectively. Another rule is to put your goals into writing. This physical act makes them tangible and real. They feel important. When you write your goals down, use the words I will instead of I might or I would like to. I will rings with power and intention. You've set yourself a mission and you intend to accomplish it. The 4th golden rule is to make an action plan. By writing out individual steps and crossing each one off as you complete it, you'll realize the progress you're making towards your ultimate goal. This is especially important if your goal is big and demanding or will take a long time to accomplish. The final rule is to stick with it. Remember, goal setting is an ongoing activity, not just a means to an end. Set reminders to keep yourself on track and make time to review your goals regularly. To learn more about the goal
Okay, so to talk a little bit more about, let me see, can you see to talk a little bit more about SMART goals, again, the S standing for specific, simple, significant. So you do want to have a simple goal. Kaylin mentioned graduating from college, right? That's a specific goal. Measurable, is it meaningful and motivating to you? So I get this a lot as a student, as a counselor working in the transfer center. Students will come to me and say, my family wants me to be a nurse. I will show them all the classes they need to become a nurse, to be able to get into a nursing program and a bachelor's program. And a lot of these students, perhaps they don't like science. Maybe it's very challenging for them. If you don't want to reach the goal but someone else is telling you to do it, but you're not in alignment with that, it's going to be really difficult for you to work towards. It's not going to be meaningful for yourself. You're not going to feel motivated. So as much as your families or friends might want something for you, you have to decide whether that's truly what you want, because ultimately you're working towards this. You have to put in that work. So it has to be something that you actually want to do and want to work towards. Is it achievable and attainable? So you have to look at, is this going to be achievable for myself, for who I am? Is it going to am I going to be able to complete this with the skills that I have? Is it relevant and realistic? And how much time is it going to take? So that's something that's really important, and that's why there's counselors and mentors and instructors. If you have questions about how long it's going to take to, whether you want to become a certain kind of career, we want to look at what is that going to take in terms of how much education you need. So actually, I'm going to jump over to our discussion for the week, because part of what you're going to be doing is career exploration. Some of us might already have an idea of what we want to do in life. Some of us may not have any idea. Some of us will change our mind 10 times before we settle on something, and all of those things are okay. What this discussion is going to provide for you is a little bit of career and major exploration. And I'm going to explain what that means. So going to our modules, we're in week 6. So there's 2 parts, and I really want us to pay attention. And I'm actually going to be posting this lecture at the end of class, because there's a lot of details in this assignment. So if you need to go back and review it and you're like, what the heck did Miss Galoy say? You can review it in the lecture. So can I have a volunteer read this first paragraph here?
Okay. I'll read.
Thank you, Everett.
Okay, I'm just pulling up the discussion on my screen because the font is small.
Okay, got it. No problem.
Yeah, so I don't need a sec to pull it up. I'll just have someone else read, because
Thank you,
it
Everett.
might take a while to load up the discussion.
Okay. Anyone else want to volunteer to read? Or you all want to keep listening to my voice? Okay. In college, as in life, there are many different paths you can choose. While in college, you can earn an associate's degree, a certificate, an associate degree for transfer to a 4-year university, or a combination of these options. Before you decide what path you want to take and work towards, and what goals you want to work towards, it is important to figure out what your interests are and how they can relate to a possible major and career. The career planning process includes evaluating your interests, work values, personality, and skills, and how they will relate to different occupations. Additionally, it requires researching different majors and careers. So you might end up doing this for a lot in your life. When I went into my bachelor's, I went in declared as a film major. I don't know if I've told you guys this story already. I never got into a film class, so I had to change my major. And because I took a general education class for cultural anthropology, I really liked it and ended up studying that. Now, to be an anthropologist, I would have had to get a PhD, and I didn't do that. So as I was figuring out what I wanted to be when I grew up, after being a preschool and kindergarten teacher and deciding that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, I started asking a lot of questions and doing a lot of research. I started researching different types of careers that I thought that I would be interested in and good at. I'm a very empathetic person. I like listening to people. I like helping people. I like working in education. So I started looking at being a school psychologist, being a speech pathologist, being a nurse, and being a therapist. And then I landed on community college counseling. And through that career exploration, I was not only doing research online, but I was also doing what's called informational interviews. And I encourage all of you to do that down the line in your life, where you actually talk to people working in the field and find out, how did they get there? What kind of education did they need? Was it difficult to find a job? What's the day-to-day life look like? What does the money look like? Or whatever else is important to you, right? So I did do a lot of informational interviews of the different careers I was thinking about, and that really helped me. So this is just a start. When you're on the college campus, there will be a career services center. You can do more career exploration. At community colleges, there's also career counseling courses where if you're really interested, you can take a class in career planning and do more self-assessments to see how your interests can connect to different occupations. So for this discussion, there's two parts. So the first part is career exploration. You're going to complete an assessment, reflect on the results, and then research a career that corresponds to your interests. Read all of the directions before starting the assignment. So the first thing you're going to do is click on Interest Profiler, and you're going to be taking a 30-question survey. I'm going to go to that link in a second. After you've completed the survey, you're going to click on View Occupations, because it's going to give you results of your survey based on how you answered, and then it's going to show a list of occupations. You're going to choose one occupation that you want to research and explore. You're going to make sure that the job zone filter says job zone 4, which means a level of education. So job zone 4 is bachelor's degree. And then you're going to review all the jobs and choose one. Then once you've picked that job or occupation that you're interested in, you're going to answer the following questions about the career. The title and brief description of the career in your own words. Do the knowledge, skills, abilities, and personality provided match your own? Give examples. What is the training and or education in order to pursue this career? Very important, because you need to know how many years you're going to need to be in school. Be sure to list any degrees, certificates, and or licenses required. Identify one thing you like about this career and why it appeals to you. And identify one thing you found surprising or disliked about this career and explain. And what will you do now that you've done this research? What steps will you take? So let me show you what the survey looks like. It says discussion 6 is locked until May 24th. Someone's telling me that. Adam's telling me that. Okay, let me take a look. Thank you for telling me that. And I know why, because I think I switched 2 discussions for the week and I didn't change their due date. So give me 1 second. I appreciate you telling me. Where did it go? All right. I see. So we are. My goodness, so none of you guys could even work on it yet. Okay. Apologize, everyone. Give me 1 moment. Third. All right. Okay, so now you should be able to access it. I apologize. Let me see really quickly. Let me double check. I see. Okay. All right. Okay. So you should be able to access it now. Okay, let me go back. I apologize for that delay. Okay, so if we click on the link, it takes us to the California Career Zone. Now, this is a really cool website. So even outside of this class, you can research different careers. You can research. This whole site is really great. So here, when you get to this website, you're going to go click Start a New Interest Profiler, and you're going to do the 30-question mini one. You're welcome to do the long one if you want, but for this assignment, you can do the 30-question mini. So it has 30 questions about work activities that some people do on their jobs. Read each question carefully and decide how you would feel about doing each type of work. So you can say if you strongly dislike, you're unsure, you like, or you strongly like. At any point during the profiler, you can change your answer to a question. Simply use your mouse to move to the question where you want to change your answer and then select the answer. As you make your choices, try not to think about whether you have enough education or training to perform the activity or how much money you would make performing the activity. Simply think about whether you would like or dislike doing the work activity if you had a chance to do it. It's not a test. There are no right or wrong answers, and you can take all the time you need. The only goal is for you to learn about your interests so you can explore work that might be satisfying and rewarding to you. Again, this is not telling you what you should do. This is giving you ideas. This is all about exploring and research. It's not telling you that this is what you have to be. So you're going to go through all these questions, not like I'm doing where I'm just picking random ones. Actually answer them correctly. I'm just going through them quickly so that I can show you the next part of the assignment. Don't copy me, because this is really about you. It's about exploring and researching maybe an occupation you had never thought of before, or an occupation that you already know you're interested in. And again, the sooner that you can kind of pinpoint a career or major you want to work towards, the better, because we can make sure you're taking the right classes to meet those goals. And we're going to be talking a lot about that with higher education, educational planning, and to make sure that you're meeting those deadlines of your goal. Okay, so once you complete it, and you don't do it like I did, you take your time, you will have your top 3 interest areas. If you want to learn about them, you can click on them and I'll give you information about what that means. And then you're going to click on View Occupation. Here's where I'm changing this job zone to 4, which means I need higher education, a higher education level. You can play with the filter for salary if you want, but just for the purpose of the discussion, you're just changing the job zone. Then you're going to click Filter. Now, all these different jobs have popped up based on my results. I can watch a video about what this occupation is all about. I can click and read about it. It will tell me how much education and training I need, what the work values are, what I would need to be able to do. There's all kinds of stuff that you can explore. The average salary I could make. So this is where you're getting the meat of your assignment to do your research on the occupation, and then answering the questions in part 1 of your discussion. Any questions about this part? We're not going to do it yet because I still need to explain part 2. So take a second to think if you have any questions that you want to ask me, whether in the chat or on the mic. No questions yet. Okay. Now, after you've done your career exploration, you're going to do major exploration. So every college student has to declare a major. Part 2 of the discussion is designed to help you begin to think about what your educational goals are and what major you want to pursue. This discussion will also help you complete the student educational plan, which is your last major project of the semester, which we'll start talking about next week. So first you want to think about, do you want an associate's degree, which would be from a community college? I do say LA Mission College here because this class is taught through LA Mission College. I want us all to be aware that even though some of you might be going directly to university, you're still going to be taking, it's still going to be the same process. You're still going to be taking major courses, choosing a major and taking major courses. You're still going to be taking general education courses, and you're going to be reaching requirements to graduate. At a community college, you can get an associate's degree on the way. You can do just an associate's degree, or you can do an associate's degree and you can transfer. You don't have to have an associate's degree to transfer. We're going to be talking more about this next week. So you're first going to declare what your educational goal is. Do you want to transfer to a 4-year university? And the reason why I'm saying transfer, so we're going to create an educational plan as if you're going to a community college first, and then if you do want to transfer to a 4-year, transferring. That's part of the assignment because we're through LA Mission College. Now, like I said, even if you're not going to go to community college, you're still going to have to take the same classes. They're just going to have different titles at the college at that college. So you're still going to have to take lower division major prep courses, general education courses. Those will be your first 2 years, freshman, sophomore year, and then you'll do upper division major courses. So you pick your educational goal, and then we're going to look at majors. So it says sometimes students are unsure about what major to choose. We are often clear about what we don't want as a major. So first, you're going to review the list on the Elimma major worksheet and cross out all majors that are not interesting to you. So we go to this link, which why isn't it working? What's going on here? Okay. You can also download it if you want. You're going to go through this list of majors, and first you're going to cross off everything that doesn't interest you. So then once you've done that, you're going to go back and you're going to review the remaining majors that you haven't crossed out, and you're going to circle your top 3 majors that you would like to research. You're going to put them in order of interest, number 1 being your most interesting of the 3, number 3 would be the least interesting. And for the discussion, you're just choosing one of those to explore. So you're choosing one major, and you're either choosing, is it a major to get an associate's degree from LA Mission College or a transfer major at a specific university? Once you've chosen that, so you have your educational goal, you have the major that you're interested in, now you're going to answer these following questions. You explain what your educational goal is and why you have chosen that educational goal. What is the name of the major you've chosen to explore? Describe the major in your own words, not cut and paste from the website. The reason that I say that is because you might have an idea of what a psychology major is, but I want to make sure that you truly understand that. And so you're reading it and being able to explain what it is in your own words. You're going to put the name of the transfer school or university that you're interested in, unless you're looking at only an associate's degree from LA Mission College. And then you're going to be listing all required coursework for that major. And I'm about to show you how to do that for whether you're looking at a university for transfer or just an associate's degree. So first of all, someone tell me a major from this list that, or doesn't have to be from the list, that interests you. Because I'm first going to show you, if you're thinking about transferring to a university, I'm going to show you how we look up major requirements. For the purpose of this discussion, I'm only going to be using UCs or Cal States. If you're gung-ho and you really want a private school, a private university, send me a message and I can help you through that. Because the thing with private universities is we have to look specifically at their websites. It's a little bit more complicated. The UCs and Cal States use assist.org. So again, I'm recording this because this is a lot of information, and you can go back over this when I post it onto the module. It will take probably a couple hours after class to load and for me to put it in, FYI. So before you tell me the major, I always start with the community college that I'm at. So for the purposes of this, we're going to do LA Mission College. Then I'm going to choose the UC or Cal State that I'm interested in transferring to. So someone tell me a UC or Cal State you want me to look up, if you have one in mind. Any UC or Cal State. And it's okay if you don't know of any. Let's see, someone put in the chat. USC. So USC is a private school. So that's a little bit different. I can show you that if we have time today. For the purpose of this assignment, and if you want to do USC specifically, send me a message and I can help you through that. Bryn is saying UCLA. Okay, UCLA. Now, something to keep in mind is that not all universities have the same majors. Different universities have different majors. Also, some schools will require more major prep and more major courses before transfer than other schools. For example, UCLA is typically one of those where they do have a lot more requirements than some other schools because it's very competitive. Someone tell me a major you're interested in to look at UCLA. Anyone? Any major? major?
Business administration.
Interesting choice, business administration. So UCLA does not have business administration. They do have business economics. For business administration, typically that's going to be at the Cal State. So that's a good thing to point out is that, and we'll be talking a lot more about higher education and the types of degrees available at different institutions next week. But the Cal States are more hands-on, geared towards a certain, getting ready for a certain profession. So that's why they offer business administration, while the UCs are more theoretical and research-based. So say we want to look at business economics, right? It's going to be a different major than business administration. So you would definitely want to research what that is. You always we're not going to go into this whole beginning because it's complicated. You're going to have transfer counselors that are going to help you through this. But what is important for this assignment is that we're looking at the courses. We're looking at the courses on the right side. These are the courses that we would need to take at LA Mission College before applying to UCLA if I wanted to do business economics. So I would need to write for this assignment, I'm going to have to write out Econ 1, Principle of Economics 1, 3 units. That's what the numbers mean in the parentheses, how many units the course is. Econ 2, Principle of Economics, you want to write out the whole title. Accounting 1, Accounting 2, Math 265, Math 266. Here I have a choice, either English 102 or Philosophy 5, and that's the end of the agreement. So you're looking at the courses on the right side. The ones on the left are the title of the course at UCLA. So even if you went straight to UCLA from high school, these would be the courses that you would be completing in your freshman and sophomore year as a business econ major. However, because this is based on, we're talking about community college to universities, you're going to be focusing on the right side at the courses at LA Mission. Any questions about this? I'm going to go through one more example on here before we move on. Carla mentioned speech pathology. Now, speech pathology typically doesn't exist on a lot of campuses at the bachelor level, at the bachelor degree or undergraduate level. Typically, it's for the master's degree. You have to get a master's in speech pathology. But if I'm not mistaken, I do think that Cal State LA has a speech pathology program for undergrad. Let me see if I'm right. So they don't have speech pathology, but they have communicative disorders, which would be maybe your first step. If you did want to be a speech pathologist, you'd do communicative disorders as a bachelor's degree, and then you could go on to do speech pathology as a master's degree. So let's look at that so we can look at another example. So now we're looking at a Cal State. There's lots of information here, which we'll be going over with us counselors one-on-one. But again, for the purposes of the assignment, you're going to look at the right set of courses. So Child Development 1 and Child Development 34. Cal State LA has its own diversity requirement. This is not related to the major, so you wouldn't have to write this part for Cal State LA. I know some of you are not going to know that looking at this, but I would know that for communicative disorders, these are the 2 courses that I would need to write down for the major courses. To look up what a major is about, say I do want to look at what is communicative disorders at Cal State LA? What does that major even mean? Because you do need to write a description in your own words, I would put Cal State LA communicative disorders major. And I'm going to click on here. I'm going to look at academic programs. This is part of the research, right? Undergraduate, because that's bachelor's degree, communicative disorders. Sometimes it won't, you wouldn't have to look. And here's an explanation, right? Prepare students to obtain a grad degree in speech pathology. And there's more information. So then you would read the description of the major and put it in your own words. So this is if your main goal is whether to transfer from a community college to a 4-year university or to go directly to a 4-year university, this is what we're doing. We're looking at assist.org. Again, if you are gung-ho and you want to research a private university, send me a message and then we can work on that together. If you just want to do an associate's degree from LA Mission College, then you're going to be using the catalog. And in this week's reading, it's not here. Oh my goodness, what? Okay. All right, I'm gonna actually have to add in the reading. I apologize, I had switched some things and then I didn't put it in. So it shows the reading for the catalog where the associate degrees are. So let me pull that up in the catalog, and then as soon as we're done with class, I'm gonna update it so that you can see that. Okay, and I see that I've made another error that Adam's pointing out. Thank you, let me look, Adam. About the due date time. Got it. Okay. Okay, that's updated now, so it should be due on Sunday. Okay.
There's no button to go to breakout room.
What was that?
I don't have the button to go to breakout room.
Okay, that was from the beginning of class, Brandon.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I don't think you were by your computer. We were doing the breakout rooms in the beginning. Okay, so let me pull up where you would research in the catalog. Give me one moment. Okay, 16 through 17. Okay, so what I'm going to update in the reading, and I apologize it's not there, is that the list of associate degrees available at LA Mission College are on page 16 through 70. So I find it's easy to look at this online, and then you can search things that you want to go. I'm going to go to page 16. Okay. So here's where the list of associate degrees starts. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the different types of associate degrees next week. But briefly, an associate degree for transfer is a transfer guarantee program between California community colleges and the Cal State system. And so if you're the major that you want, we offer an associate degree for transfer. It's recommended to do that because it's going to give you prior consideration to the Cal State. It's going to act as a backup that if you don't get into the campus that you want, the Cal State system will hold a space for you at a campus that does have space. It will give you a 0.1 GPA bump. So in order to do the associate degree, you need to do general education courses and major courses. For this discussion, we're just talking about major courses. So say I wanted to get an associate in arts for transfer in art history. Then I would need to know that my required core are these 3 courses. I would write down these 3 courses with the units and the title. I would select one of these courses to take from list A, one from list B, and one from list C. And the reason I know that is because I'm reading the text in green. There's a description of the major here. So again, you don't have to get an associate's degree to transfer. But if you're thinking about a Cal State and we offer the associate degree for transfer, that can be a good option. If you want to apply to a UC, a Cal State, a private school, you don't have to get an associate's degree. You will need 60 transferable units for Cal States and UCs. You will need general education courses and major courses. And that's giving a lot more information than you need right now because we're going to be going over that next week. So all you should be focusing on for this week is, that's not your class. Okay, is your goal setting quiz and your career and major exploration discussion. Any questions? It sounds like a lot, but once you're doing it, it will be easier. I'm sorry that I was so back and forth with fixing the due dates. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to update the reading so that you can see where you can review if you want to look over the majors and associate degrees available at LA Mission College. Again, even if you're not even going to LA Mission College, but you're going to a different community college out of high school, it's going to be the same format for any California community college. The only thing that will be different is sometimes the number of a class. For example, it's English 101 at LA Mission College. It's English 1 at Santa Monica College. They're the same class. So this is good practice for looking into what it's going to take, whether you're getting an associate's degree, transferring from a community college to a university, or going to a university anyways. Okay, no questions? Nobody has any questions? All right, so let me stop share. As you get started on this, like I said, this video I'll post so that you can go back over to see if you're like, how was she looking at assist, or how was she looking in the catalog? This is important, this assignment, especially the major exploration, because we're going to be using that information for your student educational plan. And it's going to be helping you figure out the classes, because the student educational plan is going to, which is your last major project, which is 100 points. You're going to be planning out classes that you would need to take for your general education courses and your major courses to either meet your educational goal of transferring to a university or getting an associate's degree, or both. If you don't have any questions, we're done for today and you can get started on your work. If you have questions, I'll hang out for a few more minutes. Have a great day.